Hello everyone! So, book 2 of Infinity Train is coming soon, and I want to catch up with all my speculations before it actually arrives. Also, holy hell, there is so much that is going to come out in this January. I think the universe just wants to boil my brain out of hype alone because we get, of course, this, Made in Abyss gets a sequel movie, and Frostpunk gets a massive DLC because why not? I'm sure going to enjoy all of that. I'm really excited. I'm just bummed out a little by how it all happens during 1 month. I'm not sure what else you could even add to the pile. I'm excited. So, I've seen the trailer. I think the anthology format fits the show perfectly because they can start fresh with a new character cast, but they can also explore the setting more. I think bringing back Tulip, as much as I loved her and we all loved her, wouldn't be a good idea because her story arc was completed, and bringing her back to the train would either require a huge time skip or would contradict quite a lot of stuff the universe established. Like, she went through her story arc and that was her journey on the train, so even if I'm of course going to miss her a lot, I'm glad that they have a new protagonist right now. And I'm also surprised by how early we are getting book 2, but Owen actually stated that they were working on both simultaneously, so and I'm gonna be real, I was a bit underwhelmed by the trailer, but I'm still very excited anyway because I love the show and I know that even if I'm a bit worried it may just not live up to the pure amazingness and brilliance of the first season, it's going to be very good. I don't think there is a way for it not to be very good. So let's start from a weird point. Who's the bad guy? The trailer and a lot of promo material hyped up the Chrome Police, but my personal theory is that they're not going to be the main villains of the show because there are a few reasons for that. First, they're just two random guys who got already defeated within the one episode of season 1. And while I think it is possible to take less serious threats and then turn them into really massive threats, I'm not sure if they fit. And what made the conductor such an amazing villain was partially how she influenced the train as a whole. Like, the train was far more of a hostile place, and that was a lot of stuff that we came to realize after we learned that she's been in charge this whole time. And now we know that the train is a force of good for good, and the Chrome Police are pretty much two random guys going after a person, and even if the mirror world is expanded and is something way bigger or more important, I don't think it can be as important to the train as the person in charge being evil. Also, they're just a bit underwhelming just looking at their power level, considering that in season 1 we had a villain who pretty much controlled the whole train, had access to information about passengers, their own memories, and could turn sentient beings into monsters or switch cars around, and had this creepy machine gun almost indestructible tentacle robot that could change environment inside the cars. I'm not saying that you have to have such an epic large scale main villain, but the Chrome Cops are a bit underwhelming in comparison to that. And they don't really have much of a personal stake. And I think they may follow the pattern from the first season where pretty much the steward was hyped up the most as the villain, when then she pretty much turned out to be a minion for the show True Big Bad. We didn't even have a glimpse to who she really was until episode 5, and she didn't make her entrance until episode 8. So I think the Chrome Police are going to just be working for someone else, or they won't be the main big bats of the show. And I always had this feeling like they're a bit too personal and impersonal, because let's take a look at Amelia. she at the same time had this outside robot persona that was really uncanny and otherworldly, but beneath that she was actually human with her own story, and she was very emotion driven, while the mirror police are pretty much just doing their jobs. And I believe that there's a lot more depth possible. They just don't feel going into either side, and they're just like two guys, but not too personal, but not otherworldly enough. Like, I think they're not going to be the main bad guys, considering how late this first season really introduced its main big bad. I think they have potential, and they could be a nice. They're a nice obstacle for Mirror Tulip, but I'm almost certain that they just can't be made into like the main threat. And my final reason for that is because like one is around, the big part of the threat of the first season was that it was, even if it was mostly something you notice in hindsight, that the person in charge is bad, and that the train was pretty much abandoned in certain parts, and that the person in charge seemed to work against everything the train stood for and seemed to influence it. And now, well, we have one there. He was brought back to his righteous place, and okay, I'm gonna put it simply. It's kind of weird when to have those guys to be the bad guys when you have a sidekick from the first season and pretty much the big good of your whole universe and pretty much the most powerful known person there, to like he has enough authority to tell them to fuck off within 5 minutes, and he has enough power to pretty much turn those guys into hot dogs if he wanted to, because who's stopping him? And I think this ties naturally into my next point. I think they would just have to do something for him not to go and help the main guys. Of course, the train is supposed to be like, figure it out yourself, but I think this is something he could take care of, and they would have to come up with a reason why. He may go just with a, oh, this is a test for you and you have to deal with it, but considering that Tulip wanted to help Empty, I don't think he, just out of respect for Tulip, he wouldn't help her. Like, he was pretty chill with doing that before, and if Tulip wanted it, he would probably be okay with her running around. Maybe the mirror world has their own rules, but I don't think he wouldn't be able to just blast them with his orb cannon or tell them to get out or send their car somewhere to the end of the train, because So back to our favorite bipolar robot. I'm super excited about seeing him, and the part of the trailer where he appeared was like the best part of it. I'm super excited to see him in charge and how he's actually doing and what his actual power is. And I think he's going to be, well, he's like the most important person in the universe. And while they may be someone with a higher power and authority than him, they either are absent or they're long gone, because if there was someone present on the train, they would have probably be able to intervene when Amelia hijacked the whole thing. And I'm just really excited to see him in charge, mostly because it's a bit weird to see your ex-comedic sidekick now being pretty much the emperor of your universe. And while I know like he can't do anything because there are some things that just cannot be done, I'm just really excited to see him because like he's such a lovable character. I'm excited to see him, more of him, and there are still some loose ends, and I have a feeling that there is a possibility of him turning evil. Not something I'm willing to bet on, but it is something that I cannot exclude from happening. First, there are some implications of, maybe not implications, but direct statements of him really not being able to deal with not seeing Tulip ever again. And the show implied at a couple points that he may be broken in some way. And by that I mean there are a few suggestions toward that his personality split is actually something that happened after Amelia kicked him out of the engine. For example, in the final episode, she refers to him as just one. Also, he pretty much reacts to that as his name. And Mirror 1-1, despite saying like one line, I think even Owen pointed on Twitter, oh, why do you think Mirror 1-1 doesn't just has one voice? Also, after rewatch, I noticed that it was his happy personality voice, but at the same time, he was speaking in a more serious tone. So, I've even if there is just a possibility that the mirror version of him was a just his opposite, I think there's a possibility for that because first of suggestions, well, Owen just may be trolling, but I think it all nicely adds up with how apparently mirror stuff is going to be way more important in this book too. But while at the same time, I think there is potential of him going crazy, and the show didn't left some hints of him actually maybe being a bit of a control freak. Like we still don't really know. Okay, we know that there's a high possibility that him going crazy in episode 6 was just that his job is to make the cars function properly, and he probably wasn't designed or built with this situation predicted, so he really wanted to fix everything because it is his job, but there are still some open ends to why he really acts like that. But well, at the same time, I think there is some potential. I'm a bit worried that him suddenly turning evil or a control freak maybe a little bit undermine the story of Amelia, and how what I loved about one of my favorite things about her story is that there was no excuse like, oh, just her becoming the conductor made her evil, in some, oh, now I touched the control panel, now I'm evil and a control freak because that's how it works, but more of her kind of descending to the bad state that she were in naturally. Also, I'm a bit worried that him turning evil or into a control freak type or just doing something crazy would undermine his lessons from episode 6 a little, when he pretty much was meant to learn that sometimes things can go the way you are and sometimes you don't understand everything. You can't force yourself to fix everything because you may just cause more damage and hurt yourself. But to finish off this part, I'm really excited. Also, he's not mentioned in any of the episode synopsises, so maybe there is something important they can tell us. I'm excited about him, like, I can't wait to see that. So, new protagonists. Jesse seems nice. I don't think the trailer showed too much of him that I can't really fully pinpoint his personality, and while I love Tulip mostly for her being so snarky and not in for it, and her being a nerdy introverted type, I have high hopes for the new guy, and I hope they can pull it off well. I can't really tell too much about him right now because we don't really know too much. He seems way happier and more enthusiastic, and while he doesn't seem as full of personality as Tulip, I think we're going to get way more of him. But he also doesn't seem to be mentioned in last couple episodes. It either means that he gets written out of the story, like he gets his exit early, which is improbable but not impossible, or something really important happens to him or with him that cannot be mentioned. Also, one of the things that I'm thinking about the most is his number. It's crazily low. It's like 30. And Tulip's number wasn't even that high compared to other passengers. But it was still 115 and it took her like 5 months. And I think that they actually showed Jesse's number being that low. It may be important. This is just some loose speculations, but what if his number actually rises, or he actually gets worse, or goes evil? Like, that would be interesting. It may be just an unimportant detail, Or he may just get his exit early, or get written out of the story for a couple episodes, or something bad happened to him. But I think it will be important that his number is that crazily low. We don't really know when Tulip reached that, but 30 is probably almost done. Also, a lot of fans speculated that him looking at the pictures of his family means that he's dealing with a death of a family member. I personally doubt it, because he could just miss them because, he's on the train, he's not seeing them, and he has his phone with him. Also, we already had a passenger that was motivated by a death of a loved one, and while I think you could have a very different approach to it, I think something new will happen, especially since we got info that the theme is going to be peer pressure and finding your own identity, which may just refer to MT, but I think it's going to refer to both of them. Some people have speculated that we may get a queer protagonist for this season, and things got a bit heated in r/Infinity Train, because of course they did. And while that would be amazing, and I trust the show to pull it off very well, it's not something it's not something I think they really will do. But if they did, I wouldn't complain. Also, come on, the title Cracked Reflection and themes of self-identity really sound like we may actually get one. Not something I'm willing to bet on, but it's not impossible. I will be happy with that. So, Empty. To be honest, I never really liked her in the first show. Like, she came off as bratty to me and kind of just irritated me. Like, no. Well, and this is more a matter of personal taste, because I think she's a good character and has a lot of potential, and all her behavior was understandable, and actually she had importance to the story. She just didn't fit my taste. And I think this is another proof that my taste is whack, because I loved Amelia since her first appearance in episode Goddammit 8. Yeah, my taste. But I hope they won't go into the typical I want to do my thing Disney princess style, but I trust the show and her. And while I don't really like the middle ground of her kind of bringing Tulip back and not being dead, I think they can pull that off, and maybe I like her more than I liked her in the first season, and she didn't really have that much of a screen time, and it was actually a pretty important loose end from the first season, so we might actually get some stuff. So, Dear, Ellen Dracula, what's with all those vampire references? It's a third one we already get. So, he is hyped up a lot, and by that I mean a lot. He's all over the promotional material, and I didn't really have much of an idea what he's supposed to be. I just know he's important and he's kinda cute. I think he has potential. Come on, destructive deer with laser powers. They're just cool. Some people are making fears like he's maybe a glitch, or he's some way tied to the creation of the train. Or maybe one has gone full Amelia and tried to recreate Tulip and turned out with a deer. That would be ironic. I doubt it, but that would be hilarious. So I know Guy is important and he's cute. He seems to have potential, even if I feel like the hype would need for me personally something more to focus on, because I can't really make too much out of the pieces of puzzle we have right now outside of he seems to be important, and if not the deer-shaped holes, and considering this universe possibilities, I don't think it wouldn't be possible for him to just be coming from a deer with laser powers car, because we have seen weirder stuff in there. So yeah, the cast seems solid, and I think they may have really good chemistry with each other. I can't really tell too much about their personalities yet, but they all seem nice and full of potential, and I hope they pull it off well. And now it's the time for something that's very important to me. Amelia, where are you? She made no appearances in any of the trailers or promotional material, which actually makes me think that she may be really important. And okay, her role probably wouldn't be as crucial as it was in the first season, but I don't think writing out your former main antagonist out of the story when she's still around and her ending was pretty much left open, I don't think it would make any sense to write her out. There are pretty much two paths for her, either a redemption arc or being evil again, and I think both can happen. And personally, I would be fine with both. I just would love to see a bit more of her. If she gets a redemption arc, then I don't think she can appear too early because she knows a bit too much about the universe and could just tell everything to the main characters. That would just ruin the sense of mystery for them. Or maybe she could, why not? She probably knows some stuff we, the viewers, even don't know just by her experience. Or she could still be bad. It would actually make sense, and I'm not sure if you can balance properly considering that her ending was pretty much left open, that she may one day redeem herself and become a better person and move on, and that her conversation with Tulip actually started some progression, but thanks to the number system being a clear visual shorthand for that, it was shown like she's still a deeply broken person, and the show made a point of that if she ever wants to improve herself, that would be hard and it may take her a lot, and she herself thinks that she probably will stay here forever. As I know that she won't be as important here just because of getting completely a new cast, I think she's still a very important character to this universe just by legacy alone. Maybe it's because of her that 1-1 is a bit broken, or maybe he will try to even ally with her. My personal speculation that if we go the good path, she will still make a lot of mistakes, and because one just doesn't go from grieving to attempted child murder that quickly and going back from that. And even if she had her heart-to-heart conversation with Tulip, she was still making fun of her for thinking her dog died a few minutes earlier. So there's still a lot she can do, and she's very unpredictable. But I think she may genuinely want to move on and improve herself and become a better person. And I'm a bit worried that just taking time into consideration. Like, her number is like in millions, and while I know the numbers is pretty much subjective, it goes to zero once you fully worked her issues. And while this is more meta than in the show, there is a overlaying theme of her knowing that she's getting older and that she may actually just die here. But even her knowing what the number means and her knowing what she has to do, I'm not sure she can ever fully work through her issues, or maybe not just for the time the show might take place. And so I'm not really sure, but I'm just super excited to see what they do with her. And my personal theory is that she will just choose to stay and maybe assist 1-1 because she knows a lot. I know how broken her creations are, but she still reverse engineered this whole control system, and my personal theory is that she could make them work better. She just really didn't care or was too focused on something else. She still wasn't great at it, but I think she could be way better. Plus, I'm not sure if she really has much of a reason to try to return. Like, she's been on the train for way over 30 years, and there's a possibility that all people have, like, grieving over her is long over. Everyone assumes she's dead, probably. Also, her family and friends are either completely started a new life, or they're all dead, and we know that time passes normally, and I'm not sure if she could even find her way to live back on Earth if she wasn't there for over 30 years. I think she may just start a new life on the train or become like part of the train staff. That would be cool and would actually put her talents to good use. Also, my personal something that I would love to see is her building herself another robot suit to travel around. Also, while that's probably not going to happen, I would love to see more of her conductor persona because, come on, that was a badass. While also there's more unfinished car laying around, and there could be more people that she hurt or transformed while during her time of ruling the train. I know she was only going after Tulip so hard because of one, but she went out of her way to make sure everything stays in order, far beyond what was just needed to keep one away from her. So she probably hurt or at least interrupted the healing processes of way more passengers. I can't wait to see because I think there are so many potential resolutions to her storyline. And hey, the cat is returning. I don't think she's going to have a villainous role this time, mostly because, like, she's shady and probably a scam artist, but all the more evil things that she really did was pretty much because of being forced to do them. Like, she had no business trying to trap Tulip in her own memories, for example. I know she's shady and she may cause trouble and she's selfish and stuff, but she doesn't seem to want to cause harm to passengers directly. Unless someone new comes and forces her to work for them. Well, poor cat then. But it's nice to see her. I think she has a lot of potential. I hope they planned out the show as well as they did with book 1, because sense of continuity and just all the pieces coming together and a lot of brilliance that comes to you after rewatches were one of the best things about the original show. And I'm glad that Owen revealed that they actually were working on both book 1 and book 2 pretty much simultaneously, which gives me a lot of hope that it was well planned and they didn't just, hey, now we need to come up with a season 2 of this. As I said, I think going for anthology format was a great choice because it lets them start fresh and not to artificially force all the characters back into the story. And on one hand, I really want to trust the creators, but on the other hand, I'm like one of the 3 people in the world who didn't really like ending to Gravity Falls. Holy hell, my channel is too young for this kind of unpopular opinion, but yes. But Owen said that his favorite episode was the ball pit car, and a lead writer for the show said that her favorite was the cat car, arguably 2 best episodes of the show. So I think I want to trust them. It seems like they've got it planned, and I hope they can just deliver the same way they did. And I'm pretty sure like it's going to be very high quality no matter what they do. So we got the list of episodes. I'm oddly surprised that Jesse is pretty much written out of the synopsises for the last couple episodes, starting from like episodes 8 to 10. He's not even mentioned in the descriptions. And it's not like in the original, even if Tulip was the main focus, we still get the gang goes after something. And they were still being mentioned onwards. So I already said it earlier. I think it's something that they can't spoil. Or maybe MT is just the main focus. So I'm pretty excited about the new episodes, even if most of them don't really say too much. Black Market Car? That sounds awesome. Toad Car? Yeah. Parasite Car sounds spooky as hell. Also, I feel like the Lucky Cat Car episode is going to be have a bit of fan service with catching up with characters. We already have seen Khaki Bottoms returning in the trailer, there was Randall in a screenshot, and of course the cat. I think Atticus is going to make, maybe not even in this episode, but I think he will make at least a background cameo just because of him being such an important character there. And then Simi, and it looks like there are going to be some throwbacks and cameos from previously important characters. We've seen a lot of fan favorites already in the trailer. And episode 7, the mall car. I'm really excited about this one. It seems like something very important is going to happen here considering what it's placed next to. And I have no idea who can be calling them. I think there are pretty much 3 options. It's either 1-1, Amelia, or someone completely new, because who else could it be? Also, I'm surprised that we're not getting back to the engine this time. And the titles, but that's actually a good thing, because I was thinking that they're going to pretty much follow the structure of the original, but I'm surprised that the only episode that is not a specific car name, episode 8, The Wasteland, is not a final episode, but that means they're diverging from the structure, so I'm hopeful about that. I love the exterior of the train and how the wasteland looks like. I think this is going to be pretty amazing and we're going to learn some more stuff about it. I'm probably expecting to see Empty fighting a lot of gums because there's apparently a lot of them. I just hope they won't undermine how dangerous those things are by just showing our characters casually fighting them. But I doubt they would do that. Also, how can you even fall off the train and not be able to climb back? Okay, this thing is huge, but Tulip managed to do that. Maybe she will get lost behind? Also, the final 2 episodes, I'm pretty sure at least one of them, or maybe both of them, will be something like the pest car, where there wasn't any specific pest car, but it took place inside the tape. And this ties directly into my next point, mystery. To be honest, I don't feel like there are that many mysteries that need to be solved, mostly because when the show started, everything was under the air of mystery. Like, what even is going on? What is the train? Why is the train? What does the number mean? What happens when it goes up or goes down? How to get it higher or lower? And we got answers to those questions, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions like who built the train or where is it going. But the other one, I don't think there is any specific destination because it would make sense for this train to be more about, and I know this is going to sound a bit corny, but it just fits perfectly, more about the individual journey of each passenger. Like, every passenger has their own destination, and I'm not sure if the train is supposed to head to any specific place. And I'm okay with not knowing who built it, and I'm not even sure if we're going to learn it that time. But there's still quite a lot of mysteries that I think they're going to expand, like where the tapes came from, or titles of the final 2 episodes make it seem like we're going to learn some more stuff about numbers and tapes, and I hope we're going to learn more about the wasteland and the surroundings. What are gums? Where did those fuckers came from? I love them, but where did they came from? There are many theories, and I kinda like the theory of them being like the raw material, things on the train, things that are alive are made from, or some sort of waste from the train. Also, I wonder if they're going to confirm my personal theory that this orb weapon Amelia was using and until it wouldn't work on humans. I think that because it seemed to operate under the same system that coded all the surroundings and apparently living creatures in the train, and humans are like a foreign element. So that would be, you can reprogram a computer, but you can't reprogram a random object laying next to the computer. I'm hoping for some more info on how cars are made, and we may this time get the end of the train. But that would be okay because, well, it can be still infinite with a beginning and an end. But I just hope that they won't reveal suddenly, oh, the train has this and this number of cars, because that would contradict the show's own title, and I don't think you should do that. And I'm not sure if there even can be a satisfying answer to who built this thing, and I'm okay with it just existing. But I think there is still a lot of stuff to uncover. Maybe we'll meet some more workers, or where did the tapes came from, or some more about how it functions and how it adjusts itself to people. Also, how everything is actually being created and why. And I hope for the same amount of existential horror we got, because that was one of the best things about the whole show. So we're coming to an end. We'll learn. Oh my gosh, it's only a week. Time has been passing so quickly. I can't wait to watch it. So, some miscellaneous things. I'm super excited for new music. Like, Chrome Canyon did an amazing job. I hope we're going to hear the main theme again. I wonder if Running Away will be an appropriate title again, because, well, I don't know. Also, I hope for nice visuals. They seem to be very polished in the trailer, and also the show always picked such bangers for the trailers. They're they're also very appropriate. By that I mean fitting with the theme of the show. Like, I love the song they used for the trailer this time. And some minor foreshadowings. So in this shorts we had quite a lot of foreshadowing. We had the deer holes. I wonder if Alan is actually going to make those. We had mirror police. Also, they always seem to surround One. Maybe he actually works with them? I don't know. It wouldn't be impossible. We've seen some hints about One not being able to cope with not seeing Tulip ever again. And we've seen some stuff that I can't really explain. Like, there was this video, every book to hint, and it did a dramatic zoom on the glasses One put on the duck. It could be something we can't figure out yet. Jesse may just drop those. The only thing it really reminded me of were Ulrich's glasses, and if it was symbolism that we're going to see the conductor again, or maybe something from Amelia's past, that would be incredible. But the show never really did a lot of symbolic foreshadowing, and more of this thing exists and is going to be important later. It never really went in that much into symbolism, so I doubt it. Okay, I don't doubt it. I think it's possible. But those weren't the same glasses, so I wouldn't bet on that, but that would be amazing. Also, Amelia's robotic suit is still laying around. I wonder if they're going to encounter this the car that the final fight between Tulip and Amelia happened. Also, Amelia's robot, or the remains of it, are still laying around somewhere. I wonder if it's going to show up again. And all the deformed cars that she left around, they're still there. And some people have speculated that the train may have some sort of its own sentience. I think the train just works with a clear set of rules that cannot be broken even by the person in charge, because the person in the position of the conductor can do pretty much anything outside of breaking recreating stuff that they're not supposed to. Like, it's very unclear, but it seems like the train is designed to help you work through your issues, so you can't use it to escape from them. Like, you can't bring back a dead person to life, and you probably wouldn't be able to recreate stuff from Earth, and you can't change number of a person. I know the ending was a bit confusing and some people thought that 1-1 just straight up changed the number, but Tulip's number actually remained 0 the whole time, and he just said that she already unlocked the door and he can just make it appear in any place. But there's probably quite a lot of stuff that Amelia didn't know about, since she didn't know about this, for example, but she still knows a lot. And I think the train doesn't have its own sentience and is more working with a clear set of rules that just cannot be broken, because if the train had any conscience, like a mind of its own, it would have probably noticed that it got hijacked for 30 years.